Hello, and welcome to Teacher Talk. I'm your host, Kelly C. Let's head into the planning room and find out what the hot topic of discussion is for today. The hot topic of today's discussion is all about high-stakes computer-based testing. As you know, Florida made its first large-scale venture into computer-based testing during the 2010-2011 school year with 500,000 high-stakes assessments successfully administered in 1,800 middle and high schools. Some of you may have participated as a proctor or a test administrator last year or this fall, and if so, we thank you for that. This school year, there will be over 1 million assessments delivered via the computer, so there will be double the amount from last year. And since 6th grade, FCAT 2.0 reading will be administered via the computer this spring, along with 10th grade FCAT 2.0 reading, we will have a number of elementary students involved for the first time since there are elementary schools that have a K-6 configuration. And each year through 2014, more computer-based assessments will be added. So these are exciting times and nerve-wracking times. The purpose of this Teacher Talk TV show is to discuss some of the most common problems encountered in a computer-based testing environment and what the solutions are, or the lessons learned. If you're a test administrator or proctor, you've probably experienced one or more of these issues. So we hope to provide some tips that will allow the problem to be addressed quickly and with minimal disruption of the assessment experience. And again, we are not referring to every computer-based assessment, of which there are many. Our focus today is on the assessments that are high stakes in Florida, which include FCAT, FCAT 2.0, FCAT Math and Reading Retakes, and all of the end-of-course exams. So let's take a look at the top 5 challenges in computer-based high-stakes testing. Test security, technical issues, test materials, timing, practice sessions. Let's begin with test security. Teachers must keep their attention on their students at all times, looking for any security breaches, such as cheating. Teachers should not check email, grade papers, make phone calls, or in any way be a distraction for students during their testing time. Electronic devices are not allowed in the testing room, and a student's test will not be scored if he or she is found with an electronic device. The computer-based testing room should be set up in a way that ensures that students cannot easily see each other's computer screens, utilizing carrels or dividers if necessary. When testing more than 25 students in one room, a proctor must be present. Proctors are also strongly encouraged in testing rooms with less than 25 students when at all possible. I'm here today with Ms. Bev Rogers, who is in charge of test administration here at Lincoln High School in Tallahassee, Florida. Thank you, Bev, for taking a few minutes to speak with us today. Could you give us some pointers today on how to set up the testing room and what methods you employ to ensure test security?
Well, as each student comes in, they have a ticket and their seat number is on the ticket and they have an individual code that gets handed to them. And as you can see around the room, there are dividers set up and the room itself is set up so the students would have a difficult time seeing somebody else's screen. So that's very important. But the major important thing is that your administrator and your proctor have eyes on the students at all times. That is your number one security.
Secondly, we're going to talk about technical issues. When running into technical issues during the test administration, always read the error message on the screen and, if possible, troubleshoot the issue yourself. Ask questions to yourself such as, is the network cable unplugged? Did the student attempt to access another program? Always be sure to refer to your Test Administrator Quick Reference Guide in the back of the Test Administration Manual for screenshots of common error messages and error codes. Also, have technical or administrative support staff on standby to help with technical issues. If there are isolated login issues in the room, which can be quickly resolved, you may have all students wait to begin at the same time. Our third issue are test materials. Before the day of the test, be sure to read all relevant sections of the current test administration manual and utilize the checklist in Appendix E. This is your guide to testing and gives you all important information about how to administer the test. Work with your school assessment coordinator on how to collect required information, such as a seating chart and student accommodations. Ensure you understand procedures for handling secure materials, such as student authorization tickets, computer-based testing work folders, and reference sheets. Always verify prior to testing that you have all the necessary materials and determine the correct script to read from the manual. And if you are administering a 2-session test, for example, grade 6 or grade 10 reading, do not display or distribute the seal code until the beginning of session 2. Our fourth issue is timing. Timing issues are vital. Reference the manual to ensure that all students are afforded the correct amount of time for each assessment. You need to have a way of displaying times for students during testing. Remember that the software does not have a timer, so you may need to keep track of individual student times if students experience any technical issues and miss an amount of testing time. Contact your school assessment coordinator if you have any questions or run into any major issues during testing. He or she will get in touch with the district, who will in turn contact the Bureau of K-12 Assessment to assess extenuating circumstances. Bev, you've been very successful with testing here at Lincoln. Could you share an example of how you manage students' time in the testing room, especially once they've experienced a technical difficulty?
Well, I think one of the most important things is, other than having an administrator or proctor, is to have that tech support. I make sure as testing coordinator that we always have a tech person in the room, so if a student does experience problems, they're going to be able to fix it. The tech support is always logged into the Pearson Management Suite, so they can see when the test needs to be resumed or if any technical problems come up. Basically, the student has their ticket, and if they tell me I'm having a problem, I'm going to write down the time that they have that problem. Then I'm going to talk to my tech person, get them to see what the issue is, resume the test, and then I write down the time that the student starts, because it's very important that the student has adequate time and to finish their test.
My test shut down.
Oh, okay. Let me check, see what's happening. All right, Luke, you must have logged out or shut down the browser. I'm going to go ahead and resume your test. Let me write down the time that it stopped. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and I want you to use your ticket to log back in again. Go ahead and put your code in. All right, and it started back up again. I'm going to write down the time that it started. So at the end of the test, if you need more time, I'm going to add that time back in, okay? All right, good job.
Our final issue is with practice sessions. To become familiar with the testing software, make certain that all students have the opportunity to practice prior to the actual test. The Test Nav and Test Here practice tests can be located by clicking the EPAT tab at www.pearsonaccess.com. You as a teacher should also practice with the form so you're able to answer any questions students may have about the functionality of the software. Preparation is key, and your school will run through an infrastructure trial to try out the school system to ensure that everything runs smoothly on testing day. For additional resources, you can visit www.pearsonaccess.com/FL and click on the Support tab. All teachers administering a CBT will receive training from their school district. In addition, prior to each administration, the department offers web-based training. See www.FLDOEassessments.com/training for more information. You can also contact your district assessment office with specific policy questions, or contact the Bureau of K-12 Assessment at 850-245-0513. All of the information we covered in today's show is available in a handy one-page reference guide that can be downloaded and printed at www.FLDOE.org/justforteachers. We hope this information has been helpful for you. As always, remember that communication is key, and we'll be listening for more hot topics to chat about next time on Teacher Talk.